Good afternoon and welcome. It's the Administration Executive Committee meeting, regular meeting agenda for Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. And we're going to call the meeting to order at 3:01 p.m. So let's start with committee or public comments. I don't see anyone here with us in the meeting room who is with the public. Do we have anyone online? Then I'm going to go ahead and read a statement from a Mr. Mike Neal of Ridgecrest, who asked that this be read during the Admin Exec Committee meeting. Sirs, I cannot be present. I am sending this comment via email concerning item 5, identifying green areas. I continue to advocate for trying to reduce grass acreage in the district boundary for two reasons: the existing need to reduce cost of GA fees and the future severe limits on water use imposed by California's upcoming laws. Without significant reductions, we will likely fall into fines from the California bureaucracy. As example, my usage typically runs about 1,200 cubic feet per month, which equals about 151.6 gallons per day per person in my house. I have no grass, with about 7 large pines and miscellaneous shrubs. This is far more than the 45 gallons per day, and I have no grass. It appears impossible to get close to even 60 gallons per day per capita, but clearly the effort must be made. Reducing grass acreage seems to me to be the lowest hanging fruit. Using the available software and aerial data should make identifying possible properties for grass reduction easy enough. Then a long-term plan needs to be formulated to get each household to voluntarily participate in reducing grass area. This may take a while, so an early start is advisable. Please enter this comment into the records of the committee meeting. Thank you, Mike Neal. All right, so done. Do we have any comments from the committee members?
Are we going to discuss that letter during item 5?
We can, if you like, yes.
Okay, I'd like to.
Anyone else?
I will say this. It didn't show up on the agenda. That's my bad. We are focusing on some water loss areas in a particular area that Justin helped identify. What's that area called? La Mirage?
La Mirage? Correct.
There's a picture. What we have discovered and what we know is that there are a lot of landlords there that own multiple units, and they do not fix the leaks that are on their side of the water system. And so sometimes the renters are paying their bill and they're being forced to pay more than they need to because the landlords won't fix the leaks.
Okay.
And sometimes, I believe some of these landlords are just paying these bulk water bills, but they're refusing to fix. How many leaks do you estimate are there?
When I was driving there, at least 5 active leaks going on right now.
Yeah.
Stemming from trickle leaks to what you see there, kind of eroding the road.
Okay.
And so we're going to talk in the regular board meeting on Monday about the actions we can take, not against individuals who are, may not be able to afford, to dig something up, but against landlords who are delinquent and not taking care of their properties for their renters, and what options we have or what options we need to take to begin a process that's going to stop this significant water loss that's occurring in that area.
Okay. So who owns the pipe?
The landlords do.
Okay. And there is a process for finding people who have a leak that's ongoing after they've been warned?
There is, yeah, for a couple different levels of penalties, fines.
Okay.
After that, it is the option of the district to shut off water. Unfortunately, you're shutting off water to a tenant that has no control over
Understood.
the leak.
So we
So
may
there's the
need,
trick. We can't, if we find them, they can ignore us, thinking that, well, we'll never shut the water off.
Yeah.
Okay.
what we could do though is to contemplate at some point with discussions with legal, creating new regulations within our own authority that allow us to go after these landlords that are not taking care of it directly as opposed to the tenants. And these are things that we might consider to be good ways to more motivate them. And so I think this will be an ongoing discussion for some period of time.
Have we contacted the landlords yet?
Somebody said we tried and they did not respond. Is that correct?
Yes, I sent an email last week to Desert Oasis Apartments LLC, which owns all of that, and referenced every address we found over there.
Okay.
I let them know we had contacted the city of Ridgecrest to see if there was a permit holdup, like they said there was. They said they weren't getting their permits for up to 2 months. I contacted the city. They said they would kick them out in 1 to 2 days. The reason why they weren't is because of lack of traffic control. They were putting pallets or plywood over their holes in the middle of the road, so it became a safety concern for the city. I then spoke to Ty and asked him if they needed dirt, if we can even help them out, fill up a hole with dirt, no problem. But the problem is they're not even taking the initiative to go down to the city now to get a permit. So the email was sent last week and I haven't never received a response back yet.
Okay, thank you.
So I understand this correctly. Let me get my catch on this. So these individuals are metered for the person that rents from the landlord. They each have a meter. So they're responsible for the water bill. And the leak is on the customer side, so that in turn makes the customer have a higher bill. But Desert
Oasis Apartments
Oasis is
LLC.
not responsible for the bill, but they are the landowner.
I think they might be responsible for some of them. I don't know if they're responsible for all of them. That's something I'll have to look into more. But yes, the leak under the road is technically the customer's side.
Okay.
For instance, we had one on the 300 block of North Gold Canyon. We sent them certified letters and they're like, well, we're paying the bill. And it took months for them to get fixed. And you can drive by there and the sidewalk is still covered by plywood about 5 months later. So,
And that's my concern,
Yeah.
that our actual customers are going
Correct.
to have higher bills and a lot of them can't afford that bill. So
100%.
in turn, besides the water waste that we're losing, so I guess I would have a question. Is it possible to ask legal if there's some way we could form, I don't know, if it would be an assessment district where we repaired it and then build Desert Oasis because they're the property owner? Or something like that, because we can't just let water run on the road. That's not frugal for us, so.
Yeah, that's one of the options we want to look at is if we repair it, if we can then bill the landowners.
Yeah, that would be my
Yeah.
suggestion, to offer them 15 days to get their leak fixed. If not, we're gonna fix it and we're gonna send them a bill.
Okay,
the only caveat to that is it's kind of working under when we have time to get over there too. That it's not like it's just a random
No.
extra time we have. So, but a lot of those we could even just do a temp leak to get it stopped, or temp fix to get it stopped on the leak, which wouldn't take a whole lot of time. And it'd stop the water loss, give them a little bit more time to get their traffic control process in to the city properly, and maybe get extra dirt, patch, whatever they may need to get it done as well.
So I take it the board is supportive of having this discussion at the full board meeting?
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
all right. Any other comments? All right, item 3, outstanding public record requests.
We had one, we responded that we don't own or service any properties in Trona, and that one's closed. And I think Jim Worth is still working on the larger one. Is that correct, Lauren? Like, we had sent him a lot of information. We're waiting for legal to finish that one up.
Okay,
And that's it.
is that the same, from the same source, or is this a new one?
This is that several-year-old one.
Oh,
from-
send me all the documents that you have that
We sent
we'd like to get now, but
Yeah, they had
you'll
to go
wait
through
till
the-
after you go through the court.
tons
Okay.
and thousands of emails.
Got it.
and- Yeah.
Anything else? Item 4, destruction of wells. Board to discuss policy of mandating and/or voluntarily destroying individual wells when beginning water service with the district.
So this came up in the context of, I believe, Rademacher. There was a person who requested that they be put on the new Rademacher pipeline. I believe the GA said that that was okay, but then the GA said, oh, you can still keep your well. And so we question whether or not in the world of conservation of water, is it, it's kind of a board question, if they want to hook up to our system and they're currently on a well, should they be allowed to keep the well and hook up to our system? Or should there be a policy in place that says, if you want to hook up to our system, you should probably not have a well as in addition? I don't know. It's a policy question.
Okay. And the water there is brackish, is it not?
I believe it is probably suitable for watering grass, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, better they use brackish water for that than city water district water.
Okay.
All
That
right.
would be my opinion also. It's kind of a catch-22. I think if the groundwater authority is paying, or the water district through a grant, and somebody's well is deemed not usable, then I could see the well being abandoned because it serves a purpose. But to put in a clause that, let's say Mr. St. Amant has a well and he decided to hook up to the water district water, that we mandated that he quit using his well, I would be against that. I
Or
think
worse, one of the other 3 houses that were on that well were to join the water district, and then the water district would demand that the well be turned off for all 4 houses, even though
Correct.
3 of them weren't interested. Okay,
Okay, so I think
nothing's
that's,
easy.
nope, I think that gives us the guidance. I don't see any reason to take this to the full board then.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. I appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
Yeah.
All righty, item 5, identifying green areas. Discussion of converting grass to xeriscape in the valley. Who wants to take the first swing at this?
I'll take the first swing at it. I believe it's, what we've heard from people who have done it is that it's not, the cash for grass, the sort of dollar per square foot. I mean, you need significantly more.
Wasn't worth the juice wasn't worth the squeeze.
Yeah, and so not many people took advantage of it.
Mhm.
I don't believe there is funding for that program at this point in time that we're aware of.
It's
Anybody-
closed.
It's closed. So it would be something we'd have to take out of our own funding, and we have not budgeted for that.
Okay,
So,
budget is tight too, so.
so the budget's tight, and I think, I'll be honest, I think our focus is more on looking and trying to ultimately analyze the amount of water used by the swamp coolers and looking at, actually, I've thought that it might be worth going to Sacramento and talking with some of our lobbyists to see if at some point next year we could put forth legislation where maybe the state could help put together a program, particularly because this problem isn't really as only prevalent here, it's also prevalent in the San Joaquin Valley where they have significant water issues as well. And, it could help alleviate the problems there as well as here. And it does seem like something that might be suitable for a statewide program, particularly in the San Joaquin Valley and areas like ours.
Okay. State budget is also tight, but it's worth having people look into possible grants for removing grass and/or swapping swamp coolers out for refrigerated air or splits.
Yep.
With the attendant solar panels on the ceiling. Vice President Griffin, you had something you wanted to say?
I appreciate Mr. Neal sending the letter in, and I agree with him lots of times, but I think this issue, we were up against, we had leftover cash last time because not enough people were doing it. I am a big advocate for the swamp cooler to AC conversion, for the mini splits or solar, whatever we could do there to save. This is probably not the proper thing to say, but our town looks bad enough right now. And to make it look worse, I'm not for that. I think if people want to have grass, they're paying for the water. We've conserved, we've done our job, our conservation is down drastically. I want people to water their trees. So that's just my thoughts.
All right.
Although the letter too, if I heard correctly, he indicated that the state wanted, I think something like 40 or 60 gallons.
45 gallons a day per person.
Yeah, that number, when you do include water for lawns and exterior, is actually closer to 117, I think, or
That's right.
120.
Yeah, it's a complicated calculus, but have they given us at the state level any indication what the irrigation numbers are?
When you mean, I didn't understand the question.
So they're going to give everybody an outdoor irrigation allotment. Do we know what that is? Or have they settled
Well,
on
the
it yet?
combined, I'd have to look it up. I think the combined per
So they
person
have.
irrigation, whatever, is the 117.
All right. So he has 150 gallons per day per person in his house, 152 gallons per person. All right. So the only way you can enforce this is as a group, because nobody at the water district wants to go from door to door and say, well, can send Ty out, and he'll say, how many people are in your house today? Well, only 3. Well, how many of them were here all day long? Nobody wants to do that. So it would have to be on a per capita basis. So he might squeak in, but I'd appreciate it. So let's go ahead and keep looking for grant money for xeriscaping and for swapping over from swampers to split systems. Okay, any other discussion on item 5? Item 6, Indian Wells Valley Groundwater Authority. I guess that's me.
It is now.
The meeting plan for yesterday was postponed until Wednesday of next week. And watching the Senate hearings in Sacramento, I'm assuming the reason for that is so that Supervisor Peters could get back from Sacramento, where he was testifying on behalf of 1413. And I assume we'll see him next week. So that's my report. Any questions?
Nope.
Alternate water sources, item 7.
Nothing significant to report at this time.
Okay. 8, draft agenda for the regular board meeting. Let's give that a quick look and no, Brady Street's still on the agenda. It looks good to me.
And you're going to add, or am I missing, discussing La Mirage?
I believe under general manager number 1, update on leaks on rental and leased properties, potential against
There it is.
action against landlords,
Okay,
under
perfect.
number 1.
Okay.
And-
I'll do that in that slide right at the beginning of my report.
Okay, and then also, on the mid-year workshop, item 5, how much can we get into detail on discussing that? I would like to see about proposing to the board to just do a one-time-a-year workshop.
Yeah, that's, okay. We can discuss that then.
Okay, 'cause
Mhm.
I just don't think it's productive to have.
Okay. Well, I'm sure there was a reason to have the workshops. The staff may have very good reasons for having the workshops to bring the board up to date, and we'll discuss it. And if the staff could consider whether they think there's value in 2 workshops a year or 1 workshop a year or no workshops a year, let us know.
Copy that.
All right.
And that's it. I'm good with everything.
All right, so we'll go ahead and adopt the agenda. Thank you. And future agenda items. Do we have any future agenda items? Nope. Nobody online? All right. Well, very good. Then we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 3:19 PM. Thank you very much for your time and attention.